Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. It's Motivation Monday, and we're here. We made it to the month of May. We pressed, we persevered, and we did it. We overcame the challenges, the obstacles that we faced from January all the way up until April to roll over right in May. So we're here, and we're going to be unstoppable. We're going to be intentional. We're going to use the same drive, the same passion, the same tenacity that we used to make it through the first 4 months to close out month number 5. But we have to make it through the month of May to have the success that we desire for 2017. This is a year of success, and we're not going to stop until we get to our destination. And as we journey along our destination, we have challenges. And I want to take a few minutes today to talk with you about finding comfort in crisis. We're either in 3 places. We're either coming out of a crisis, in the middle of a crisis, or we're coming out of a crisis. And as we journey through life, there may be times where we will experience a crisis. And I just want us to be prepared to deal with these challenging times so that we do not get stopped and we just keep pushing through to get to the destination that we have in mind. Jeremiah chapter 29 spoke out to me as I was meditating on what can I share with the group as we look towards May and accomplishing some great things in the month of May. The message I have for you is finding comfort in crisis. Jeremiah chapter 29, Jeremiah writes to God's people that were in exile. I just want to stop right there. They were in exile. They were in a place of captivity. They were out of their natural environment. Their lives were disrupted. They got disoriented. They were discomforted because they were not in the place that they had desired to be in, where they could thrive. Their lives were interrupted and they were carried away into captivity. They were captured as slaves and carried into a place called Babylon. But the word of the Lord was for them to find comfort in the midst of their crisis. So here it is, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4 to verse 8. Listen to these words. This is what the Lord God Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon: build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what you have produced, marry and have sons and daughters, find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, so that they too may have sons and daughters. This is what got my attention. Increase in numbers there, do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. Yes, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, has to say. So God was saying to his people, while you're in a strange place, while you're in a foreign place, I want you to prosper. I want you to prosper in a place of pain. And I started reflecting on life in general, and sometimes we find ourselves in situations where it's very uncomfortable, it's very unproductive, it's not in line with the vision of where we want to be long term. Our lives get interrupted by different things, and we call these things crisis. Now, this is not just you having a bad day. I'm talking about life altering situations that happen where you have to figure out, how do I make it through this? And the objective is, I just don't want to go through this. I want to grow through it. I want to prosper in a place of pain. I want to be able to prosper in a place where I am not feeling that confident. I'm not feeling that comfortable. I feel misaligned. I feel like I'm out of my element. I feel like things have taken a direction for the worse. How do I cope? How do I deal with things not going in the direction that I desired? I had plans, I had goals, I had dreams, but things took a turn for the worse. And you have the option. You can either just give up, you can give in, you can call it a day, you can throw in the towel and say, well, at least I tried. And sometimes we even get to the place where we blame God, or we blame some people around us. We're simply saying, God, I did not have a fair chance. Or you may say that people didn't give you a fair opportunity, and as a result, you're stuck where you are and you feel very uncomfortable. You're having a pity party. You're sad, you're down, you're depressed because you're dealing with the reality of things not being in line with where you want to be. You had goals and you had desires, and you told yourself that by a certain age, you would have accomplished some things. Maybe you thought that you would have graduated college by now. You'd have had that honorary degree, that master's degree, that doctorate degree. Or maybe you thought your business would have been successful and you would have experienced explosive growth. Or maybe you thought that the ministry that God had given you, that it would have grown exponentially. Maybe it's that relationship. You thought just being married to the right person, everything would be perfect. You'd have great children, have a nice home, a nice career. But the truth is, sometimes we journey through crisis. We go through crisis, and how we deal with these crises will determine whether or not we survive, whether or not we come out on top, or whether or not we just fall to the bottom. Well, this is the month of May, and I want to challenge you. Rise to the occasion and deal with the crisis so that you can continue to live. You can continue to survive. You can continue to flourish. You can flourish in a bad environment. And this is what spoke to me so profoundly, because I thought that because I had done everything right, and I thought because I was hungry for growth, and I thought because I had displayed certain characteristics of leadership, that maybe I would have moved in a different role or a different direction. But the truth is, I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was stuck, and I had to change some things to get some different results. I had to change the way I viewed my circumstance. I felt like I was in a crisis. I felt like I was going to have a meltdown. I literally felt like I was going to have a nervous breakdown because I looked at my life. I'm like, this is not where I want to be right now. I had different goals. I had different ambitions. I had different things I wanted to accomplish. Life threw me a curveball. And yes, I felt like it wasn't fair. But what can I do? I can either go through it or I can grow through it. So I chose to grow through it, and the growth that I experienced was exponential. The growth that I experienced is simply unbelievable. I never thought I would be the caliber leader that I am right now, where I'm so focused, I'm goal-oriented, I'm action-oriented, I'm getting results. I'm able to be more organized, I'm able to be more professional. But if I did not go through a crisis, I would not be where I am today. So I chose not just to go through my situation, but grow through it. So I want to share with you 5 quick steps that can help you grow through your crisis, where you can experience comfort, you can experience confidence, and you can rise to the top. 1, express painful emotions. I know we don't want to let people into our private lives. We don't want them to know some of the things that are going on. The truth is, some of it could be a little bit of pride, because we want people to think that our lives are so organized and everything is so perfect in our world that we really don't want them to see what's behind the facade. We don't want to open our lives up and let them know that we're hurting, that we're experiencing pain. But we have to express these painful emotions. We hear it all the time that people are going through. It's natural to vent. It's not natural to try to hold everything in and not let people know what's going on around you. And I know you probably have experienced some kind of trust issues before, or you may have shared something about your personal life and someone went to town with it. They just told everyone. They exposed you. But you have to find someone that you're comfortable with, someone that you can share with, that you're going through a time of crisis and you're experiencing sorrow, anger, anxiety, fear, confusion, helplessness. If you don't express it, these emotions, they get bottled up and they will prolong your distress. You actually get worse. Things will get worse for you. You fall deeper and you have to pull yourself out and find someone to talk to, someone you can trust, but you have to express those emotions. People who survive and grow through crisis come to terms with the fact that some of the stuff they're going through, it's powerful. It's mind-blowing. Some things that people tell you, sometimes it will blow you out of the water. It's the same way. That if you share your story with someone, it may blow them away. But you have to find that close friend, a spouse. It could be a physician. You may have to seek professional help or speak with a member of the clergy or your pastor. Some people choose to write things down. They keep a journal where they write things down. Some people express their emotions through prayer, which is nothing more than having a conversation with God. David did it. The psalmist David did it. We read in the psalm where David speaks. He said, I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me, and he delivered me from my fears. I'm going to be very honest with you. Reading the psalm, I'm a bit concerned about David's mental faculty, his mental state, because I'm like, this fella, it appears as if he struggled with depression a lot. But the truth is, he went through a lot of crisis. That's just my analysis. He went through a lot of crisis, but he found a way to express his emotions. And with him, it was through prayer. 2, you have to develop a new mental perspective. When you have people who are going through a crisis, the most common thing that I hear is that they never expected it to happen. People wake up and they have the best intentions in life. They want to experience the best day possible, but things happen in life and it catches you off guard. It doesn't feel normal. It feels like you've been blindsided. It feels like life just punched you in the stomach and you fell to the ground. I know you've had those moments where you've said to yourself, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't bargain for this. This is too much for me to handle. This is where you have to change your mental perspective. You have to change the way you view things. You have to gain a healthier mental perspective where you realize that the things around you that you see will not change until you change the way you see things. So you have to develop that new mental perspective, the perspective of the glass half full and half empty. You have to change the way you look at things. You may have been looking at life through the lenses of things being half empty or the glass being half empty. You have to change the way you look at things and look at life through the lenses of looking at the glass as being half full. 3, leverage the lesson. Sometimes we're in such a hurry to get out of the crisis that we miss the lessons that we have to learn. I certainly had to take a step back when I was going through my moment of crisis to ask God, what do you want me to learn? What do you want me to learn through this? What do you want me to experience differently? What do you want me to gain from this experience? Learn everything you can about your crisis. Your crisis not only tells you about what you're going through, but it tells you who you are. You get to see whether or not you have the strength, you have the tenacity, you have the drive, you have what it takes to survive the difficult times. You see your frailties. You see some of the things about yourself that sometimes will shock you. Sometimes we find that we're not as strong as we thought we were. Sometimes we realize that we're just human, just like everybody else. Sometimes we think that we're on such a higher level that the crisis that we're going through just shows that we're just as human and we have dependencies, that we are not above the dependencies where we need help from someone outside. Or maybe you are as bold and as resilient as you thought you were, and it's just to prove to you that you have the goods. You have what it takes to make it through. So don't ignore the lessons. Leverage the lessons. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? 4, analyze, then actionize. Evaluate before taking action. You have to look at things and ask yourself the question, how has this altered my life? Where do I go from here? What do I have to work with? What's the worst that can happen if things never change? How do I alter my life to make these adjustments to continue to live? We have to identify where the repairs are needed before we start making adjustments. Before we start taking action, we have to know the gravity of what we're dealing with. we have to make a sound assessment. And it may come down to you having those difficult conversations with yourself, having those difficult conversations with the people around you, but you have to analyze, then take action. 5, develop a new mental map. Some crises are catastrophic. Some crises are irreversible, meaning that things don't go back to normal. I know in general, we want to have that positive outlook that things will go back to normal, that this is just a bad episode, this is just a bad dream, and I'm going to wake up after a while and everything is going to be back to normal. But here's the reality. Some things never change. Some things are permanent. I'm going to be very transparent with you. This is the hardest part of life that we have to deal with, because we have to now come to terms that this is where I will be for the rest of my life. This is a situation that I'll be in for the rest of my life. But don't let it end there. You have to find a way to make the best of it. We're not just going to stay here and die. We're not just going to roll over and let life pass us by. We're going to adjust and develop a new mental roadmap and say, okay, I'm dealing with this challenge. Now I have to change strategy. I have to change route. It may take me longer, but I'm still going to get there. I'm still going to get to that place of prosperity. I'm still going to get to that place of purpose. I'm still going to be able to flourish. Yes, I may have to deal with some hindrances. I may have to deal with some setbacks. I may have to deal with some handicaps, but I will still push my way to get there. Most things will change, but some things are permanent. And those are the things that sometimes are heart-wrenching. I talk to people sometimes and they're dealing with some traumatic experience that they've gone through, dealing with the loss of a loved one, where you have to come to the realization that this person won't be around anymore, that this person is gone. They're no longer in my life and I can't reverse it. There's nothing I can do to bring this person back. Your world may have been built around this person. Your hopes, your dreams may have been built around this person. Your support system was built around this person. This is the person that was there for you, and you felt like you've lost a part of your world. It's irreversible. You cannot change it, but you can live through it. You don't have to just let life stop because someone who you love, someone who you cared for, is no longer in your life. I've talked to people who are dealing with physical condition, different illnesses, where they're on medication and the doctor is saying you will never be able to function at 100% as long as you live. But these people continue to make a way. They continue to push. They continue to persevere. I know people who are dealing with paralysis, but they're making it happen every day. They're still showing up to work. They're still at the gym. They're still pursuing their dreams. They're still living life. They're still living life. They're just dealing with the limitation of not being able to function at their full capacity, but they're still living. They're still moving. They're still getting results. I've also met people and talked with people who've been traumatized by separation and divorce, but they made it through the crisis. They cannot go back and change the results of things that led to where they are right now. Those crises were irreversible, but they developed a new mental map and they were able to change route. They were able to reroute to get to their destination. The road through crisis is never easy. It's not fair for me to stand here and tell you that what you've been through or what you're going through is light. I'm not here to make light of your situation. I'm just here to tell you that in life there will be setbacks, there will be discouragements, but however, within you, once you begin to grow through your challenge, once you begin to grow through your crisis, you begin to see that within you there's a reservoir of courage and confidence. Once the adjustments are made in your life to adjust to your new environment, you become more comfortable with where you are and with who you are. You are still able to prosper in a place of pain. God is able to bring you comfort in your crisis. You will emerge ready to resume living. You will emerge ready to take on life. You will emerge ready to get results. The story to your life is not over. This is just one chapter. You have a whole lot left. You have a lifetime ahead of you. And don't let your crisis cripple you. I want you to hear this. Don't let your crisis cripple you. You can find strength. You can find courage. You can find comfort. God wants you to prosper in a place of pain. He's your place of comfort. When you feel like you've tried everything and you've done everything possible, you've exhausted all your resources, I urge you, I encourage you, reach out to God, express your emotions, find that new mental map, analyze and restructure, reorganize. You can make it out of this crisis. You just have to make up in your mind that I'm going to find comfort, I'm going to find courage, and I'm going to find confidence to make it to my destination. You were created to flourish. You were created to prosper. And the place that you're in may not seem as if it's conducive to your growth, but you can make it. I want to encourage you. I want to inspire you. I want to motivate you to find comfort in the midst of your crisis. Don't be crippled. Find comfort, find confidence, and you will make it through it. Have a great day. Have a great week. And let's get better results in the month of May.